there Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk Bounty video. And this video is going to serve a dual purpose. Usually this would be a standard opening older Star Wars figures that I do with Little Bossk, but we also have a delivery from TungHori that I want to show you as well. I'd usually do that separately, but we're opening two figures in this video, the two that you can see in front of you here, one from the Power of the Jedi and one from the Legacy Collection, and then we're also looking at two figures that we've managed to pick up from TungHori. So without further ado, if you happen to enjoy the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into this. Okay, so first of all, we are going to be taking a look at the figures that we got from TungHori. They come in this little box like so, little package. It took about 7 days to get here, which wasn't actually too bad. I ordered 3 figures, 2 of the same. Little Bossk has had his already, so it is open, and then these 2 in here are mine. And let's just crack it open and show you what I got. Okay then, so I've got the figures that we got from TungHori out of their little baggies and put them on here for you. And there's a couple of things we want to say about each one. First of all, let's talk about R2-D2. This is of course the mould that not everybody really likes. You can already see that the door or the hatch on mine is open and it doesn't stay closed. Really, really annoying. But I wanted this figure really purely for the extra accessories that you get with the sort of bar with all of the glasses and everything. He is, after all, nicknamed R2-D2. So I've never really had this figure loose. I've obviously got him carded. You can also get him on the Revenge card. And yeah, it was just great to have him. But as you can see, the drinks tray thing isn't really sitting too well on his sort of shoulders of his legs there. And that could be because, you know, with TungHori, the things that you're getting potentially didn't make the grade to be sold. They could be seconds, that kind of thing. But I didn't really mind it as a way of getting him, as a way of getting all those little drink cups and everything, which I'm sure I'll probably lose eventually anyway. And Little Bossk wanted to say something about R2-D2 that you can do with the lightsaber as well.
So if you take the periscope out, you can put Luke Skywalker's unlit lightsaber in, and you can push the third leg in the middle up to make it fly out.
Yeah, you can. I'm not too sure. Does it fly out? I think it just sort of pushes up, doesn't it? But it's still pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't know whether that's a deliberate thing for the figure to do, but you do get the lightsaber for Luke, the unlit hilt there next to him. You can see that there. So that's R2-D2. Not really a lot to say about him apart from the fact that I'm happy to have him now in my collection. He'll go very nicely on the barge, obviously, because that's the scene where he's from with all of those drinks and everything. And then we have Princess Leia in her slave outfit, which, as everybody knows that's into the vintage collection, is a very, very difficult figure to come by, especially if you want her carded. Disney, Lucasfilm, Hasbro, whoever probably will never do this figure again. So this is really the only way you're going to get her. I was lucky enough to go onto TungHori when they had her in stock. I'm not too sure if she's still in stock. But there she is, and you obviously get her little staff thing, and you get this cup as well, which obviously doesn't fit in her hand. I think that's actually maybe for Jabba. I'm pretty sure it's a drinks cup anyway. There is another way that you can get a similar figure, which Little Bossk is going to tell you about now.
So with the Sandstorm Leia, if you take all her Sandstorm gear off, you've pretty much got the same figure, minus the chain around her neck.
Yeah, and it was actually Little Bossk that pointed that out to me about the chain around her neck, because I always thought that the Sandstorm Leia was exactly the same figure. I mean, you can see some differences in the paint apps there on her bra top, if you like. But basically, yeah, you don't get that chain around her neck. So yeah, I always thought if you took all of the Sandstorm stuff off of this figure, you were left with Slave Leia. And this is the one that I've always had on my barge, because that's what I did. I think I originally got this one from TungHori as well, with all of her Sandstorm gear. I put all the Sandstorm gear away and I just had this figure on the barge next to Jabba the Hutt. But it isn't 100% screen accurate because you don't get the chain like you do on that one. So that's the first time I've ever noticed that. So thank you so much for that, Little Bossk, for pointing that out, because now I'm definitely going to replace this one. I'm going to have this one, the new one that I got from TungHori, on my barge. And then what I might do is I might put all of the Sandstorm gear back on this one and have like a, you know, a Sandstorm Leia, even though she's from the deleted scenes, so she doesn't really go with anything else particularly. So they're the figures that we got from TungHori. So keep an eye on TungHori, because he does, you know, put up older figures every now and then. So I was quite lucky to get the R2-D2 and the Slave Leia, both figures for my barge, which is great. So yeah, that's the two differences there. for the Sandstorm Leia versus the Princess Leia slave outfit. And just very quickly, for the people that didn't know what I was talking about, this is the Princess Leia Sandstorm outfit figure. This is from the deleted scenes. And there you can see the figure in the bubble there with her gear on. She's got that hood separate. But as I said, underneath is that other figure that I had there, but she doesn't have the chain, which is quite interesting. All right then, so moving on to the first of the opening figures. And we're going to be opening up a Man-O-Man with Salacious Crumb from The Power of the Jedi. This was a fan's choice, as you can see in the corner there. And I've had this figure for absolutely ages, kept him on card, and I have no idea why. I think it's because I was hoping that, you know, Hasbro would release a new one in the vintage collection. I personally don't think that that's going to happen for a little while, if ever. So I'm going to be opening up this one, and then at least I will have an Man-O-Man for my Jabba's Palace. I don't think I'm going to need the skeletons and stuff that come with him necessarily. And Little Bossk wants the Salacious Crumb, because I do already have one of those very, very similar that came with an Oola figure in The Power of the Force. I think it was like a mail-away figure. So there we go. I absolutely love The Power of the Jedi card backs. Bright green there with the yellow coming out the back of the Star Wars. Power of the Jedi, you've got Obi-Wan and then Vader's helmet in the back there. Awesome, awesome. And there's just a couple of other things that you could get in the line. They often came with these big play features. So you've got Luke in the back to tank. You've got Princess Leia with the big gun for the barge and things like that. So yeah, let's crack this one open and check out the figure. Okay then, so here he is out of the packaging. This is a Man-O-Man. And I'm not going to lie, it was difficult to get him to stand up. That's very similar to the vintage version in that respect. He was quite difficult to stand up as well. He's got these massive hands, which obviously sort of outweigh him on one side, basically. Then you've got Salacious B. Crumb on the left-hand side there, and this remains of a human or something lying there, which is a pretty disgusting piece of plastic, really. It doesn't look great. But I just wanted to put him there very quickly so you can have a quick look at him, and then now I'm going to sort of hold him in front of the camera so you can get a good look at the sculpt and the paintwork and everything, because he's just going to fall over any minute. And there he is, closer up, so you can see the sculpting work on him and all the paint details and everything. Really, really weird creature from the Star Wars universe. Perfect for Jabba's Palace. And yeah, you can see the back of him there. So he's basically green and yellow. That's pretty much it. There's a nice wash going on the bottom half of him there. But in terms of articulation, this figure is very, very limited. You know, he has ball jointed shoulders. He doesn't have any elbows. He does have a swivel at the wrist there, and he has these swivel legs. But if you look at the legs there, or the feet rather, they're sort of inverted. You can't really do anything with those. They hit each other, and that is one of the reasons why he has trouble standing up. Little Bossk, have you got anything to say about this figure at all?
I think he looks like some kind of stick insect.
Yeah, he does a little bit, doesn't he? I'm trying to think what he reminds me of in like the Earth world. Yeah, maybe an avocado or something. I don't know. He is very, very weird though. And you wanted to say something about this, didn't you? What did you want to say about this and this together?
I think one of these skulls could have belonged to that skeleton.
Yeah, could have done. Yeah, he could have made his staff from this. And I think this is supposed to be something that he like drags around or something. Look at that. That is proper disgusting, isn't it? To come with a essentially a kid's figure. But anyway, it's good to have this figure finally in my collection in terms of loose. As I said, I've had it for absolutely ages, but now he'll probably end up going, you know, in my Jabba's Palace when I get that set up. But for now, he'll probably go on the barge. And last but not least, we are going to be opening Lee Sub Serlin from the Legacy Collection. Everyone's probably watching this going, no, don't open it. It's super rare. It's super expensive on the secondary market. And you will be absolutely right. It is. This was one of those ones that's quite tough to get hold of these days. But I do need this figure loose for my Cantina. I've got a lot of the other Cantina aliens, and I definitely need this one as well. And also, this was a gift from one of my Patreon supporters and a good friend of mine now. Met him at Celebration. Gary Moore. Thank you so much, Gary Moore. What an awesome gift. And I really appreciate it. He knew I needed this one for the collection, and he knows I'm going to open it. I'm sure he's not going to mind that. But it's in superb condition. You get the leg of R4P44. And then there's a little write-up about Lee Sub Serlin. And there she is. There's the picture of her. And who's standing next to her? Is that Bossk? No, it's a guy in the Bossk uniform with a spaceman's helmet, and I think he's just called Spaceman. Wouldn't it be cool to get him in the vintage collection? That would be pretty awesome. So there you go, Lisa Serlin Legacy Collection. We're going to open her up. And here she is out of the packaging, and doesn't she look great there? I think she's an awesome figure. I'm very, very happy to have this one in the collection now loose. So thank you so much once again, Gary Moore. Really appreciate this. And yeah, she's pink. She's wearing silver. She comes with a little cup and a blaster. And at first I thought, oh, she hasn't got a holster, until Little Bossk corrected me. So where is the holster, Little Bossk?
Like a scout trooper on her boot.
Yeah, I did not notice that. And you can see there when you're looking at her boots that she's got the colour of her plastic on the hinges. So it's one of these figures where they're correcting this sort of thing in the vintage collection now with Kithaber and figures like that, where they're going back and they're, you know, re-releasing them, but they're painting the hinges the right colour. So that's a bit unfortunate because you can actually see it right there on the boots, but it really doesn't matter. She's cool. She's going to look amazing in the cantina with all the other aliens. Obviously, there's still loads more that they can do. We need the Tonica sisters for a start. And let's just get a closer up look at the figure. So there she is, close up with that massive head. With the silver spandex that she's wearing. And there's that little cup, and there's the blaster there that you can see there. So what do you think, Little Bossk? What do you think about this figure?
I think this figure can be in the vintage collection only if she had painted hinges on the boots.
Yeah. So that is, it is a bit funny, that, isn't it? The way they never used to do that. Bit of a shame. But yeah, I agree. Maybe she doesn't have all the articulation of a vintage collection figure, you know, the standards that they're doing these days. But at the end of the day, I'm not too sure how many people would complain if there was like maybe a 4-pack of carded Cantina aliens and this was one of them. Would you mind that, you know, if they did nothing else to the figure? I mean, it's super articulated in terms of the arms and the head and the knees. She just has the swivel hips, basically. But if they could just paint those boots fully, then I think she'd do. And I think the card back for this one would be awesome as well. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. That's been our video today. We have been opening up older Star Wars figures like we always do. Me and Little Bossk like to do these videos together, look at some of the older figures from 3.75. And we've had a look at some of the figures that we got from TungHori recently. So I'll be keeping an eye on his website to see if any other older figures come up for sale. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my Patreon supporters and channel members, and thank you Gary Moore once again for this figure. She is going to go pride of place with my other Cantina aliens. So thanks so much for watching, everybody,
and we shall see you on the next one.